Welcome everyone back to another quick spontaneous update on the new TR to PR pathway program. I just wanted to jump on and I've got a few minutes here before I do a podcast interview with an awesome immigration lawyer who's going to be joining me to do that. So watch out for a podcast that's coming soon. And I'm going to turn this off. There's nothing quite like doing a live and then you've got it queued up on a different computer and it starts playing in the background. That is so funny. At any rate, what I want to do is I want to share with you right now some of the latest information that I have. Once again, what I know and what I don't know. And there's still a lot that we don't know, but there's still a lot that we do. So I'll be back to share a little bit more with you in just a second. All right. So like I said, there are many things that are still being released and unveiled. There's lots of debate over this program. Many people are getting stressed now because there isn't a lot of information that's been released. It's possible that I could be right in the middle of this live stream and the immigration releases the guide or the checklist. And at this stage, they have not done that. So if they do, and you're watching live, let me know. I see a bunch of people jumping in here. It's good to see you. Shoaib, good to see you, a member of the group here, the TR to PR pathway course that I teach. It's welcome. And there's a bunch of other people. I'll wait for some people to jump on here. But basically what I want to do is just give you some quick updates to clarify and to get rid of some of the misinformation that's going on out there. And then just give you a little bit of high level insight that you can actually rely on to start preparing. Now, those who are the haters out there that are constantly saying to me, what does Mark know? Why is he charging for this information? Well, the reality is, yes, I am an immigration lawyer. And yes, I don't just provide free advice completely to everyone and never expect anything in return. My goal in sharing this with you is that you'll say, wow, that guy, I think he actually knows what he's talking about. And oh, he has a course that will help me to prepare in advance, even before the full details are released, so that when they are, at least I've got a good foundation for me to go forward and apply. And so, yes, I hope to be paid for those efforts, especially killing myself all last weekend to create the course. So those of you who are in the course, I will see you tonight at 7 p.m. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to show a bunch of other things, tips and strategies. And as always, answer your questions. Like we were on last night for 2.5 hours answering people's questions. So that's what's in the group, as well as all the videos. Now let's get to the tips and things that I wanted to share with you. One of the things that is really, really important for you guys to understand, and I'm going to adjust my window here so you can see this a little bit better. I have my, excuse me here. Let me just expand this if I can. I got a scratchy throat here. I'm going to open this up, and it's kind of fun just doing this right on the fly. I'll be honest. It's like completely on the fly. Let's expand that just a little bit so it takes up the window. There we go. And then I'm just going to adjust this back so you guys can see the screen a little bit better. Should be just about there. There we go. Okay, there we go. Okay, now it's all pretty. Okay, so you can see up at the top here, I've typed in PR application portal IRCC. Now, why is that significant and why is that important? Because that's where everybody thought the actual sign-in would take place. So permanent residence portal sign-in. Everybody and their pet pretty much went here. I've gone in and sampled it and tested it out to see what it looks like. When you go in here in my course, I even went so far as to give a tutorial on how to register, how to get in here, because generally speaking, this looks really similar to what we would expect it to be from what's been released by IRCC. In the technical briefings and the Q&As I've attended two, I attended one this week even where we got further updates. But ultimately, this is what everybody thought it was going to be, right? You've got the application here. You can select it. You can choose your category. And then obviously even in here, it's got all the elements that we would expect, which is right now currently being used for some of you that are applying through, example, the provincial nominee program. And so you select your forms and you've got your documents here at the end where you can upload them. There's even some instructions on how to name them, which I pay attention to all of those things. I even pay attention to how these documents, these forms are set up. Tip number one, just like this, you can see the form and then the ability to download. This is how the forms are going to be. The forms are going to be situated right in here. It may be that the wizard that you complete at the beginning populates the exact forms you need, or you'll have to go back here and rely on what they have here, the document checklist, to make sure you have the right ones for your program. Now, I think that the TR-to-PR pathway program is, well, I know it is. It's going to be, guys, completely new interface. And so there's probably not going to be any confusion as to what forms you need and what forms you don't need. So it's probably not going to be like this where you have to jump in and choose your own and rely on a document checklist. But we know the application guide is coming. And so one of the tips that I teach in my class is to go into here, take a look at what the PNP is asking for, and then read it. Read this one, see what they have for completing the forms. There's specific guidelines on which forms the PNP needs. Tip, those will be very similar to what you will require for the TR to PR pathway. And then there's explanations of how to fill in the forms and things like that. So all of that is contained within here. But what I want to reiterate to you guys, this right here is not the place. So if you're thinking you've got everything all set up, you're good to go, understand that that is not where the course, the program, I'm so fixated with courses because I've had courses on my brain. I'm completing every evening from 5 to 6. I do my express entry, step-by-step course and master class. That I do for an hour. And then I have an hour break from 6 to 7. And then at 7 o'clock, I go live in the group. There's a link below where you can join, and I go through and literally answer everybody's questions. And last night, well, it took 2.5 hours to get through everyone, and then I kind of had to cut it off. But when people post questions in the group, they get answered, and it's this awesome community that's building, and I let them know what's happening first. Now, this isn't a place for me to go through and teach you how to fill out the forms. All that's in the course, as well as which documents you need. But understand, guys, what I'm teaching is basically to prepare someone for as many possible contingencies as could exist. Then ultimately, if IRCC only wants one thing or two things from your list of 6, well, who cares? You've got them available. Okay, couple things that I want to identify, and this is just a little pro tip as well. I'm going to jump back here. I'm going to go into the program, and you will see here that this one right here is it's a fillable form. It's an online one, which is also mandatory, at least for the provincial nominee program. Well, it's absolutely, this 008 generic is absolutely going to be one of the documents that you require. And you can go through, and it's pretty simple to know that anything on here that says it's for all programs is also going to be required. So additional family information, this is mandatory for all programs. Stat Dec of Common Law Union, if you're statutory, if you've got a common law spouse, yep. And then you, keep circling back through here. Military, well, that's if applicable. Supplementary information, mandatory programs. Yep, I got that on my list as well. Schedule A, mandatory. Yep, I got that on my list as well. Do you see? So it's not rocket science. But one of the interesting things, and I'm not going to dive in too deep into this, is that with this program, we know it's not going to be online. It will be the actual form that you need. Where can you find it? You go here, you type in IRCC forms list. That's probably good. And then it takes you right here. You click on this, you open it up, and then you can search for your form. So if I want to search for the IMM 008, I type in IMM. This is rocket science, guys. Pay attention to this, otherwise you're not going to get it. Okay, I'm joking. There's the application form. I click on here, and then what happens is, and magically I download it and I pull it up here. Okay, so I'll just pull this one up, and so that you can see it quicker. You'll see at the top here, this is one of the uncertainties that we have. I advise all of my students to go in and complete every form and be prepared, even if you have to recreate it because they have some new one. How do you know? At the bottom of the form, there's always a date stamp. This one says 06-2020, which you can barely see, but that's how you match it up. When you get to the actual program and you are filling it in, I'm going to go right back here to what I was filling in here. There should be, in my view, there should be a link right here that allows you to download the most latest form. So for my students, I teach them to click on this link, open it up, and compare it with the number that's on the form that you've already completed. If it matches, bonus. Now, there's one factor I want to address for you guys here, And this is pro stuff that I'm teaching in my course, but I want you to know that I'm not just this lawyer who doesn't give any help to people only if they pay me. So you haters out there who are trolling my my YouTube and saying, "Oh, Mark, blah blah blah." Well, burn. You guys can burn. So here's pro tip: program under which you're applying. We do not yet know what this is going to be called here. Personally, I'm almost positive it's going to be something like TR to PR pathway, but we know it's either, well, we actually can't confirm. It's probably going to be economic. I think it's an economic program that's born out of public policy, but the category under which you're applying, the government has a ton of pilot programs that are all listed here. Do you see skilled worker, blah, 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 all these ones here, high medical needs, investor. There's even one that you can see here that would be confusing for some of you that actually says, let's see if I can find it here. I'll show you. Let's see if I can find home child care provider pilot. Let's see if it's on this one. Home support worker. And as we zip down a little bit further, yeah. So anyways, you can see that there are a number on here, but TR to PR pathway for essential worker or healthcare worker is not listed. So what does that mean? You could go through this process, and if they do update the form, and on May 6th, when they launch it, and you go to the actual drop-down list, and you click on the link and you open up the download section right here, you'll see that maybe there's a new date stamp that says April 2000, or May, it should be 2021. If that's the case, well, that's life. You deal with it. But you guys that have completed this form and you filled it in with all the information, all you have to do is copy and paste into the new form. So it will be faster and you're already familiar with it. But they're not going to reinvent the wheel. They may tweak this so that the new category is here. But other than that, you are well advised, all of you, to start completing these forms now. So don't wait. Do not wait. When it comes to the documents, there's a ton of different documents that you require. And trust me, I will be releasing information as often as I possibly can. And like I said, I've got a live a podcast recording I'm doing at 1 o'clock. And yeah, and then I have this awesome interview with Nicholas Hyung. And I'm not sure if Nicholas has been able to connect in and give a shout out. I didn't see, but Nicholas is a reporter with the Toronto Star, and I have the opportunity to connect with him. And let's see, I'll even show you guys who Nicholas is here. He is, he's doing a piece that's going to be launched on, there, I'll flip it around here. Of all the reporters with the Toronto Star here, Nicholas Kyung, is awesome. He covers immigration at a level that many, many other reporters just don't. He knows his stuff. He's been recognized as doing some phenomenal pieces on everything from illegal consultants and strategies and a bunch of other things. I don't want to misquote him because I can't remember everybody that was involved. But yeah, you'll have to check out the Toronto Star, Nicholas Kyung, awesome reporter. You can see immigration reporter. So he's going to interview me at 2:30. We're going to talk about this program, talk about the pros and cons and the challenges, because there's a lot of misinformation out there, and there's a lot of people that are not happy. And even I, as the Canadian Bar Association, I've created this course. I've adapted because I was already doing it. It was easy for me. But many of my colleagues have clients that really need representation. And if it's launched during the day, most of you are going to be at work. And so on May 6th, there's going to be this massive, sick day for many employees who are not going to show up for work, especially our vulnerable sectors. If it launches at 10 a.m. that are not going to be at work, well, even those that are in the healthcare world, they're caring for the sick. And if they have to take the day off to do this application themselves, because that's the way the immigration program has set it up, well, that's a huge, huge problem. And lots of people, for good reason, want to hire a representative to help them. Now, built into this is inherent problems, and the way you register for it with your own personal email address, the difficulty that a representative actually has to work directly with you. Within our firm, I've already been doing collaborative reviews for probably 1.5 years now. That's what we do. We guide you as you do it yourself, you DIYers, through our collaborative review. So even that's not a big deal for us. But the big deal is capacity to help people. And some firms may decide, we're going to hire a bunch of temp people. Well, I got issues with that. What do the temporary people know? And if they're making mistakes in your application that jeopardize where you're at, well, the questions I ask is, okay, number one, hiring a representative? Absolutely. if you have not had experience with immigration, well, even if you do, hiring someone that does, who's a professional, is always your first choice, always. But for me in my office, we have only taken one person each, one, because I can't afford to have a second and third person not get in because I'm busy filing number one for someone else. So ask the question, and I've said this before, and I'm telling you guys now, ask the question, where am I in the queue? Who is going to be submitting my application specifically? And what is your strategy for us to work together when the time comes to submit? And if, I know as us with the Canadian Bar, well, I'm not going to say Canadian Bar Association because we don't have official positions on this. I'm the national chair of the CBA, but everything I'm telling you now is in my personal capacity as Mark Holthe, immigration lawyer, ex-immigration officer, and former high school teacher, which I pulled all together to create the TRPR pathway course, which if you click on the link, you can register right now and you're not going to miss out on a single thing. Now, with that being said, there's many lawyers for sure that are really upset because the terminology suggests that you should not share your login with your representative. Well, my goodness, Section 91 within the Act affords the right for people to be able to hire a representative. And we are very strongly opposed at what the government has done here. Personally, I have figured out a way to adapt. And so I will be just fine. But I represent all the other immigration lawyers out there. And I'll be honest, it is not right. There should be a mechanism for people who are truck drivers, who are respiratory therapists, respiratory surgeons, specialists in these hospitals fighting COVID, who do not have to take the day off to go file their own application, but should have the ability to hire a representative to do it for them, to set it up and to have them file. Like that's the right to counsel is under the charter. The built into the immigration legislation is the ability to choose someone to be your paid representative. And I don't agree with the way immigration is making it difficult for people to do that. Now, just because I don't agree with it doesn't mean that I'm just going to sit on my hands and just pout and cry, woe is me. That's why I've changed my model of my firm. I've morphed it. Do we help people? Yes, we do. We represent people individually. But with this program, you guys out there, the course is designed to give you the tools, the resources, the knowledge to teach literally everything I know about the program. So when it goes live, whatever it looks like, hopefully it looks exactly like what I'm teaching you. But if it doesn't look exactly like it, you will have the tools to be able to adapt quickly, adjust, and then upload what you need so that you get in. And remember, we've got caps. Healthcare, 20,000. Essential workers, 30,000. International grads, 40,000. Which one's going to get filled fast? Which one's going to cap out? The caps are going to be, the caps are all going to be listed. And every time one of you clicks submit on your application, I'm not talking about registering, but I'm talking about submit, then boom, the ticker is going to go down, 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 down like that. And it's going to be right visible on the page when they launch it. Those of you who are working away slowly thinking that, oh, I've got lots of time. It's all good. I'm in, I'm registered. So then I can finish to completion. There is no guarantee of that. No guarantee. Now, it is entirely possible that everybody that's in has a chance to finalize. But my belief is if they're setting hard caps at 40,000, that you're not going to be able to click submit after you've spent all the time trying to figure it out. And those of you who are waiting for May 6th to understand what you need to do, or listening to someone else on there, these helpful YouTubers that apparently don't charge anything, and they give all this helpful advice, well, freak, good luck. Use them, go ahead, more power to you. But the reality is us who understand the law, who study it, who have meetings with immigration and with the Canadian Bar Association, every single thing that I learn, I share with the other lawyers, the table officers. We have a wonderful secretary, Lisa Middlemas, who is just rock star awesome. After the meetings are done, she puts the notes together. We disseminate them to all the other lawyers. But notwithstanding that, there's still a significant portion of what's happening that comes, the only way you can know what's happening is if you're heavily involved in express entry, other online filing, so that you understand exactly what's going through the minds of the officers when they're creating the new program. And one other tip, the person who manages and oversees express entry is the same one that set up the TRPR pathways. Now, much to my chagrin, she's moving on to policy and she's an awesome, awesome person. We will miss her tremendously. But those little nuances are what makes the difference. So, like once I said, I'll say once again, and I'll continue to say, click on the link below and join the group and find out. And those of you who are in it, you can tell people what it's like. Is it a freaking waste of money? Or you guys let them know if there's something in there. All right. Now, I wanted to spend the last little bit here. I wanted to go very quick and talk to you about that. The last little piece that we do know is that the program is moving forward. How do we know that? I'll flip around, share my screen again. This time, I'm going to open up a new tab, and I'm going to go to IRCC processing fee online. Let's see if we can find it right here. Pay your fees online. Let's see if this is the one. Come on, be the one. Be the one. I'm going to expand that just a little bit. Is it the one? Maybe it is. I want to find the one. Actually, I'm not sure if this is the one. I had the link and then I overwrote it when I was IRCC. What I'm trying to say is that fee payment online. I think this is the one. Pay fees online. How about this one? Yeah, this is the one. Okay, so what I wanted to show you is that, is this program just a mystery or is it actually going to happen? Well, and if you were in the group, you would have heard about this immediately. Pay your fees online. You can go right here. And if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll have options. And so will you when you log in for the first time into the program itself. It'll give you a chance to do a wizard, which is basically, hey, we'll help you choose your program. Or the people in my group will know very well which one they qualify for. And if you watch the videos I've done, you will be able to assess your own eligibility, select your application type, and you can see here that it's permanent residence. So I click on here. Are you paying the right of permanent residence fee on an application you've already submitted? No, this is brand new. See all fee list, and then from here, it generates where you get your fees. So if I scroll down to the bottom, oh, who's clicked on it already? Well, that's me. So when you click on it, you will see that this is and what is it called? Yes, it is called the TRPR pathway. Isn't that wonderful? So back on Monday, guess what I called my course? TRPR pathway. Do you think there's a connection there? Do you think maybe there's some information that us members, at least of the Canadian Bar Association, learned from those technical briefings? Yes, we did. And Acadie and KPIC also learned. Hopefully they shared that information with their members. But anyways, you can see here, this is where you choose. And if you are an adult, it's $1,050. If you have a spouse, it's $1,050. Do not, whatever you do, be deceived, and I don't know why they do this, into right here thinking that you can pay without paying the right of permanent residence fee. The policy specifically states you have to pay everything up front. These are your only options. So if you're single, you're just putting one here. If you have a spouse, an adult, then you're going to put one here. If you have dependent children under the age of 22, if they hit 22, unless there's some exceptions, if they are under your care for basically humanitarian reasons, and they're older, then yes, they can be included. But then you're going to put the number in there. Once you're here, if you haven't done biometrics before, then they're probably going to prompt you to pay for biometrics. But other than that, you submit it, and there it generates the fee, and then you log in and pay. If you have not yet logged in yet, it'll prompt you to do that. So there you go. There's me trying to share more information that you can actually rely on. Okay, let's flip over here, you fine folks, and let's start answering some questions. Okay. This is awesome. Job says, are you an education agency? Please advise. Heck no, I'm no education agency. Am I an education institution? The Canadian Immigration Institute? Yes. Do I find students jobs in Canada? No, I do not. Do I help people with study permits? Yes, I do. And my firm does. I'm an immigration lawyer. I'm not an education agency. Okay, zipping through here. All right. So Jody says, please encourage people to wait for the instruction guide. Okay. So one of the things people are asking, and let's flip back here. Should I go ahead and pay my fees right now? Well, there is a strong likelihood that if you complete this and you pay your fee, it's going to give you a receipt and you're going to be able to have that available to then upload. Okay. But we still have time. This process is not going to be backlogged. You're not going to be capped out. So personally, I'm waiting till at least Wednesday. Yes. I'm waiting until Wednesday, which is the day before it goes live, May 5th. For me, it goes live May 6th, but May 5th is when I'm going to start paying my fees. And if we don't have a guide by then, oh my goodness. All I have to say is all those members of the group are going to have a significant advantage unless they have already retained one lawyer, one good consultant you can trust, and they know they're number one on the list, they're going to be just fine. But if other people are waiting for the instructions and they haven't come by May 5th, well, there's still going to be time. I'm still going to leave the card open May 5th so people can jump in and take a quick look and spend the whole night preparing and watching the videos that I do, although it will be a while because each video is about, in the evenings, are about 2 to 3 hours. They're all recorded. They're all in the private Facebook group. Okay, so yes. So my instructions, Jody, thank you. I'm going to give you one of these. Very good. Very good. Great point. Okay. 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 Ferretin says, I'll apply for the postgrad May 1st. Okay. When I'm applying for the PR, which dates are going to use as an issue and expiry date? What will my status in that case? Student or worker? Great question. So here's the thing. Once you submit your postgrad work permit, then you are authorized to work. But technically, not until you have the work permit approved and in your hand are you in worker status. In fact, you are still a student until you transition to that work permit. So status, and he's talking specifically about a question on the form. Good for you, Ferretin. I really appreciate the fact you're doing your homework. So on the Schedule A or on the generic form, the IMM 008, it asks about your status. So you're still going to be a student as long as your student is valid, your study permit. And then the dates, well, at this stage, you're going to put the date that's the end of your study permit. If you are in, for some of you, although it won't really be possible for this year because May 6th just comes too quick, most of you will all have study permits that are still valid. But if for whatever reason you don't actually have a document, and there's a number of configurations that could result in this happening, if you're under an implied status, then you have to put something in. So I'll often just put a year later. So 1 year from, when the form is being created. And then in a letter of explanation, I say, please note, I couldn't validate the generic form without putting a date in there. And so I chose one date, 1 year in the future. And on that date, and that's why I put that date in, but I'm in implied status waiting to receive my postgrad work permit. Okay. Great question. These are good. Good job, guys. Okay. Jobin says, thank you for informing us time to time. You're very welcome. Sheriff, good to see you. Rajat is in the house. Kartik is here. It's always amazing. Like we've got about 334 people watching live, and obviously there's a hunger for information, right? Okay. Okay. Jobin says there was fee registration yesterday for this TRPR pathway. Did we require to do that or not? No, hold off, you guys. There's no rush. Okay. Sam, thank you. Praise the Lord for all your works. I appreciate that. Okay. 1560 hours count when I'm a student and essential worker. Yes, Muhammad, if you accumulated it while you're on a study permit, working part-time during school, full-time in the breaks, and it's all in one of those essential worker categories, absolutely, my friend, you can do that if you meet the 1560 within the previous 3 years. Okay. Emily says, Emily in Canada. Awesome. I love that tagline. Okay, Mark, I watched the April 27th CIC from Campbell Cohen. It was not interactive. I left after a few minutes. Well, it is what it is. And this is where I'll invite the lawyers at Campbell Cohen to contribute. Come, join the Canadian Bar Association. Well, you've joined, but come volunteer to do things that are not just focused on Campbell Cohen. Come join, volunteer for our committees, be involved. Like David, come. I think Matthew is at Sherwin. I can't remember who the other lawyers are there. Like, come get involved. And when you have an opportunity to get involved, then you can learn information about things. Now, I know they've got a machine. They're very, very amazing. I wish I had the budget that they had. Boy, imagine what I could do if I had that budget. Wow, I would be truly taking over the world. But I don't. So instead, I stay up till 3 a.m. most mornings, get up at 8, do consults, and then do it all over again. Just trying to stay on top of this. But that's interesting, Emily. Thanks for pointing that out. And once again, pay close attention. If you choose to hire any firm, any consultant, ask who's submitting your application. And it may be that some of my colleagues who are really upset about this, and I do not blame them in any way, are going to file some, class action lawsuit or try to file some stay application or something to prevent this from going forward until they open it up more for representatives. And I'm fully supportive of them in every way, because people should have the right to be able to hire a lawyer to represent them, or, a competent consultant. They should have the ability to do that and not be restricted from it. The legal counsel is built into the charter. And so I don't want to belabor that point anymore, but please make sure you ask the questions. Just because someone is a reputable firm make sure you're asking who's actually doing the, doing the preparation and submitting of the application. Because if they've just hired a whole bunch of temp people to just push through a whole bunch of people, well, maybe it's going to work out for you. But I'll be honest, if you're a DIYer at heart and you're watching this, come take my course and I'll help you to get prepared. Even if you still want them to help you and you want that reassurance, there's nothing stopping you from coming in, learning, getting educated so that you can make their job as representatives even easier. And collaboratively, you can work together to get your application submitted as fast as it can possibly submit. Okay, I hope I'm still okay here and that I'm not missing something. All right, let's see. I hope that was not Nicholas calling me. Was it Nicholas? No, it wasn't. Okay. My phone was ringing well, hopefully we got the times right. Hopefully that wasn't Nicholas calling me. Okay, to do the newspaper, the interview. Okay, so back to the discussion. Let's get back to questions here. Sorry, I get off on these tangents. What forms would be required for international student stream? I just showed you in the previous links. Nessa said, hello, why did I miss? You didn't, Nessa. This is just a spontaneous one. I'm going to be joining you at 5 p.m. for the express entry. And later today, I will be doing it at 7 to 9. So you didn't miss anything, my friend. Nessa's in both. She's awesome. Okay. Okay, here's another question. And I'm not going to get through all of your questions, you guys. So I'm going to try to keep them focused to the TR to PR pathway. We'll see here. And if they're short, I'm going to be much more willing to answer those than a long one. If you've got a big, long transcript that relates to you, ring the bell, flip the screen over here, and then I tell you to go here and book a consult with the firm, and we can walk you through it. Okay, back to the question here for June. Okay, if I came to Canada before I was 18, okay, and I haven't come back home anytime yet, do you think I need to get a criminal record check from my home country? Nope, good question. Nope, it's only after you're 18, 6 months in a row. Yeah, and if you're asking about specific stuff as well, make sure that, you keep it to a general nature. Okay, I think I answered this one already. If you're implied status, sometimes you just have to put a notional date in there. Not sure how long it's going to take to process, but one thing we know, and that's straight from immigration themselves in our technical briefings and Q&As, that their goal is to get as many people through this year as possible. Is it going to be faster than express entry? I wouldn't count on it. I'll be honest. If you have a choice between CEC, and congratulations to all of you who were recently granted an ITA in this recent draw, what is it, 185? Yeah, or is it 200? It's all a blur. I can't remember where we're at. Yeah, 176, 185, the 400 CRS score, 6,000 of you, congratulations. Alexa, my new favorite channel. I was actually looking at some ways to do some news, really get some fancy backgrounds to make it look like it was a news update. Okay, let's see what's next here. Okay, here's a good question. Okay, can a May graduate who hasn't graduated but completed the program apply for TR under the international grad stream? You need to provide proof that you've completed it. Now, there's no confirmation yet. We don't know exactly what IRCC is going to do, but clearly many of you are stuck in this situation. You're going to need some confirmation of graduation from your school. And here's the challenge. Once you get confirmation of graduation or completion, then if you go back and you watch that video that I did with Alicia, and I'll show you guys here because it's important that you guys actually watch it. Let's go to YouTube here. Let's see. I'm going to find it first and then I'll pull it up here. You guys don't need to see everything that I'm got displaying randomly here. I'm just going to go back to my channel, flip the screen over. Okay. So yesterday, Alicia, and some people were complaining because it was clickbait apparently on this video that says international students. I changed it to you may be illegal, but we had put there, and well, it's already changed. It said you are illegal, which I can tell you almost so many of the students that I talked to actually went through a period of illegality. And why? Because once you've received confirmation that you've completed your graduation, before you submit your postgrad, you have to stop working. If you can get your postgrad lined up so you submit it right on the same day that you receive confirmation of your graduation, then you're fine, you're employed. But you guys have to be really, really careful because you have to have your postgrad work permit submitted to show that you are currently employed, even with that employer. And there's probably going to be a little bit of gray area there, but it's a reality. You guys are going to have to really race. I'll talk a little bit more about that in the course tonight. Okay, 1 year diploma in finance? Nope. If it's 1 year, if it's not a degree, and this is another issue that I've run into, postgraduate diplomas. Postgraduate diplomas. So you've completed a bachelor's and you can't do that next step until you've completed your bachelor's degree. I don't know if that is going to be considered, a 1 year postgrad certificate or diploma going to be sufficient. I don't know. I've asked that question and we're waiting to hear. But we don't know whether that will work for you as an international grad, because if it's only a diploma or certificate, you have to have been studying for 2 years. Okay. Yep. And here you go. You can see 1 year diploma in finance. Yep. We got that one up there. Nope. You don't need the police certificates or you don't need the PCCs or the medicals up front. But as I teach in the course, there may be reasons to do that and go ahead and do it anyways. Same thing. Biometrics aren't going to be required, nor police certificates. Okay, since medicals aren't up front, does that mean we can submit our application before we've gotten our results from the doc? Yeah. Yep, before you get your e-medical information sheet. Okay, here's a good question. Jody says, how do you add another page to the background form for more space? How would you submit this additional form if you can't combine them? Pretty simple. With these forms, like there is obviously going to be a process with the forms where you have a separate document that breaks down everything. And I've had lots of time to think about this and digest it. Remember, these were all paper-based before. You print them off, you can include whatever you want, no issues. Some of them are validated, they're secured forms, so you can't bundle them together. The only way to do that is to print them and to scan them back in and then bundle it together after a flat document. The generic form, because it's validated and there's a barcode associated with it, we are not 100% certain if it's going to be like your online filing, where that 5710, you can't sign it, you can't do anything, because when you upload it, it won't allow you to upload unless it's still a secured form. We don't know with 100% certainty if the forms need to be secured, but one very easy solution is to actually create a separate document, a letter of explanation that explains all the information in the forms. And my mind is transforming slowly as I'm teaching the students in the course about what they can do, best practices. In Express Entry, I always provide an EAPR information form that is an LOE just relating to the information. And then I advise specific documents for each document, like an LOE for each document. And I upload those together and bundle them together. But it's not so easy with this process. So I'm almost at the stage now where I'm going to start advising people for the forms to have one letter of explanation that explains all the extra detail that is somehow not able to be populated in the forms. And I'll show you guys something else here. Let's flip over here and I'm going to pull up this again, something that's so irritating. Okay. So if you look here and let's go to the, let's see if we got, which one do I got open here? Let's go to the background declaration form. Okay. So when you're going through here, okay, it says give full details of secondary, post-secondary, including university that you have. Okay. When you're filling this in, I'm just trying to see exactly where it says it. I might be searching a while. I don't have everything memorized on here. It's been a while since I've really been diving into these forms. But the reality is there's often insufficient space to put in here. So if I put in, let's see, we'll put Claire's home composite. Okay, that doesn't, oh, that's field of study. You know what I mean? Okay, let's go here to the name of the institution. Yes. So let's go County Central High School. Do you see the name of the institution? I can't even put my high school in here. County Central High School in Vulcan, Alberta. Yes. I don't think even can I do it? Oh, I don't think I can do it. There it is. Oh, that's the Spock handshake or the sign. I can't do that anymore. Anyways, long story short, you can't fit it in there. So what do you have to do? Well, maybe it's this, CCHS, right? Or maybe you go County Central High School, right? So this is the problem. But in the guide, when you're following it, it actually tells you don't abbreviate. So what does that mean if you were to follow it explicitly? A separate letter of explanation that breaks down exactly the full name in a separate table that looks just like this. So those are some of the things that you guys have to consider and think about. Yeah. So long story. Wow. But do you know what? I think this all helps all of you. And yes, I'm not going to get through it all. And yes, I need to connect in with Robert, Robert Leong is going to be joining me to talk about credential recognitions, and it's going to be a recording. And so we'll launch that, and you can listen to it on the podcast. But yeah, so we will have to wrap up here in 20 minutes, but I know you guys are all benefiting from this information because it applies to all of you. When I get good questions like that, it gives me an opening to teach. And as a former high school teacher, this is what I love to do. So there you go. And I love to get paid for it. Oh, do I love to get paid for it? Would I love to have 1,000 people in my course where I'm being paid $347 US. That's the cost for the course. Would I love for someone to pay that tuition? How much are you paying tuition right now? You know, all I have is, what do I have? I have a teaching degree for 5 years, and then I have a law degree for another 3 years. I actually have a diploma from college before I went to law school. So I have a few years of education. Teaching and getting paid for it. That's such a weird concept. Except you guys are paying like $20,000 for your education a year. So yes, I would love to have 1,000 students. And, you know, I've sessionally taught at universities and colleges, and it's just been, a wonderful opportunity. And I shouldn't say guest taught, not sessional, guest taught. All right. Okay. Okay. What is the difference between applying the permanent resident application and Express Entry CAC class online? Oh, my courses? Well, obviously Express Entry it's rock solid. I've had like 5 years to develop the course, developing all the material. And so I'll be honest, sometimes I have to think of creative things to do like this. When I'm teaching the Express Entry, because I'll be honest, people run out of questions because I've spent so much time putting the program together. But this one, because it's on the fly, the tutorials are there for the forms, but there's still a lot of questions that have come up about this program and how it relates to filling in the forms. So the Q&As at the end of the day are where the real money is. And why do I start them at 7 p.m. and tell my wife and my family, I'm sorry, this week until, virtually May 7th, I'm not going to be around to help you guys? It's because you have to, as we say out here in Southern Alberta, you have to make hay while the sun shines. In other words, you have to do things when people need it most. And it doesn't help me to work 9 to 5 and not be available for you guys except for 20 minutes, during the workday. You're all at work, right? So, and some of you may be even tuning in from work watching this. So I do it at 7 p.m. Mountain Time so that people in Pacific can catch it at 6, people in Atlantic can catch it at 10, and you guys in Ontario as well could catch it at 9. Get it? Got it? Good. Okay. Zipping through here. Okay. Rami says, Mark, IRCC just tweeted it would be an online form. Does that mean it's not these forms themselves? That's a good question, because I can tell you IRCC right from the horse's mouth has told us that it will be forms that are going to be uploaded. Now, this is great, Rami, because if they've automatically pivoted and shifted and now are having online form completion, you know what, Rami? I am totally fine with that. And all of my students are totally fine with that. And do you know why? Because they've already completed everything that they're going to need in those forms, at least if they become an online one. And what we're talking about really here is if I flip back here and we go back to this and I open up this program, if it's like this one, okay, like the information is not going to be different than in the fillable forms. So if you go here and if it is this and you go to edit and I continue, and I've already gone through and experimented with this thing. Oh my goodness, it's so ugly. It's going to ask the exact same things that are asked in the actual IMM 008 generic, except, oh my goodness, if they're going to that process and they're going to do that, and something I've never heard, online doesn't mean that it's going to be fillable forms like you just saw. Online means more than likely that it's going to be just like this. And I say more than likely because until it's released, we don't know 100% certainty. But I personally think what they mean by online uploading is that you're going to print off the form, you're going to complete it, and then you're going to upload it right here. You're going to click on this button, and it's going to prompt you to upload your forms from the location that you have them completed and stored. That is my belief, just like the online TR process as it exists now. But great question. Post the tweet, man. I'd love to see the tweet. I've been in consults with clients all day, and the beautiful part of the group is everybody is engaged. Everybody's looking, everybody's searching, everybody's hunting. So when some notification comes in, boom, they pointed into the group. We've got some wonderful consultants that are taking the course. We've got some wonderful individuals that have been in this process for a long time. There's people that have taken my express entry course. And so they're all helping. It's an amazing, amazing group of people. And so the moment something happens, boom, 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 it's posted. We share it. There's a language test that's open. Surprise. I just booked. Everybody go there. Everybody works together. And that's why I love it so much. It is a complete team effort and everybody's empowered. And I've got some pretty cool prizes for the people at the end for being so awesome and helping one another. Okay, I'm going to pass through all the questions that we've already answered. Okay, let's see. Gersi says, hi, just want to save a space for someone else. I got ITA in CEC, but worked remotely for 3 months outside Canada. Will remote work outside Canada make me eligible in CEC? No, it will not. If you're counting that work experience towards your CEC, my friend, then, and you need that to meet the 12 months, then it won't work. You can't count it if you're working remotely, even for a Canadian company outside of the country. Okay. Oh, here we go. Doru says, even though there's no cap for French, and I'll let you guys know, you people that are looking to go through the French speaking program, if you register for this course, Essential Workers International Grads, when I open up the French one, you get free access to it. But he said, should we still be in a rush to get our app submitted? Because I'm guessing processing times will be crazy. No, Doru, do not be in a rush. You have the luxury of looking to see what there is that they need, taking your time, making sure that all of your application is perfected. You have that time, so take it. Does that mean you wait for months and months to file? No, but maybe it means you wait a week. You look at it, you come join the course, you educate yourself. And even after the program is launched, we don't know how fast it's going to fill up. So I may very well even do some real-time stuff right into the course as my one client and myself as we go through it. So we'll see what happens depending on what they'd like to do. Okay, here's another question. And these are all very, very good questions. I'm going to give all of you guys a big shout out. I know I didn't get through a lot of them, but there are going to be lots of things that you guys have already asked. So thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking to this. Do you have to wait for the IELTS official form to come in hand to submit the application, or once the exam results are out, we can submit the results? If you have any electronic version that's been transmitted to you, or it's an official result that is displayed when you can print off or confirm it from the site, IRCC has already said that's possible. And I don't think if I can find it here, news, language test. Let's see if I can find maybe it's this one here. Did I guess right? Yeah, I did. Okay, took me a second to find it. Here's the news circular. And it's just talking about, oh, we're so sorry. There's the score. We know that there's a reduced number of testing, but we also know that they're opening extra sessions. Hooray. Here's the answer. Applicants, and this is what you'll find in the course. I don't just keep things on my own site. I don't just show you my own interpretation. I always point you back to the source of the information so you know you can trust it. So applicants can use a previous language test from a designated organization as long as the test is less than 2 years old. Congratulations, that's not helpful. We all know that, okay? It's important it's approved from an approved site. Great. Now here's the part that I want you to pay attention to. IRCC will accept language test results received by applicants through email or from the testing organization's online portal. Okay? So there you go. And then it says, don't use these stupid people that are stealing up all the spots and are selling spots to you. That's basically what they say there. Man, that irritates me. And those of you who are contemplating using these automated filing companies, please avoid them like the plague. They don't even know what the portal's going to look like. So yeah, and maybe I'm naive as to the value of what they're offering, but I'll be honest, like nothing has been able to integrate with the system. In the US, all of the software providers, INS Zoom, LawLogix, all of those ones are all able to integrate directly with the online filing system of the US Immigration Department. In Canada, they've never allowed for that. So good luck if you're forking over money to them who are promising all these kinds of things when they themselves don't know what's going to happen. Okay. Okay, Anna, nope. It says, is it okay to pay for the application, then pay the PR fee when it's approved? Nope, that's not a possibility. I'll show you something. And this is how I always go back to the source. So if we type in new PR programs for essential workers, let's pull up the actual policy. What do we have showing up here? Here it is right here. Check this out. Oh my goodness. I've got all 3 showing up on Google now. Sweet. That is awesome. Okay. I guess apparently people want to hear what I have to say, why? Because I'm actually sharing things that's useful. I'm not just keeping information to myself and telling you the only way you can get it is by hiring me. Okay. So if you go through here, and actually, do you know what? I'm going to go eligibility requirements is available within the policies. I'm going to go to the policies here. Let's take the post-secondary. Okay. Once we're here, and let's see if I can find it. Here's the conditions, blah, 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 all the conditions, la, la, la. And remember, this is essentially the law when it comes to these programs. Language proficiency, reside in Canada, intend to reside, have submitted an application, and then policy. Let me just see here. Okay. For national, let's see, purpose, for national not admissible under the act. Family members. I'm just looking here to see where it is. I thought I could find it super easy, but maybe I can't right away. Fees. Okay. Let's see here. Any fees applicable, including fees for processing an application for permanent residence or for permanent resident visas, must be paid at the time of application. Start and end dates. I can't find it. I'm not sure where he stated that, where I saw that. Let's see. Nothing like searching for the answers right in the middle of what you're doing, hey? Okay, let's go back here. And we're going to go back one more here. I'm going to take one more look. I'm sure you guys are smarter than me, but I read it somewhere. I know I read it. Oh, now I can't find it. Okay, well, I'll just leave it. So I'll leave this where it is. Now, all the fees up front are what the expectation is. And yeah, I'm not exactly sure why I can't find it. Maybe they removed it. Maybe they changed it. Maybe there's something new. But Anna, at this stage, I pay for all of them up front. And everything is available for life. That's the beauty of this. The course itself, which I've showed you guys a lot before, if you go, the link is below, but if you go here and then all those people are like, Mark, all you do is talk about your course. Well, then don't watch my videos, okay? Don't watch them if you don't want to see. So many people do. TRPR pathway. So this is how you log in, and the link will take you right here where you can pay for the course, right? And then right here, I'm just going to go back here to the Canadian Immigration Institute. I'm going to go and I'm going to show you what it actually looks like. So when you log in, so you've got the library here. So this new updates, haha, guess what's there, you guys? Okay, so you go into all the courses. Have I done this before? Yeah, I've done this a few times before. That's how I know how to run courses. Okay, so here, once again, new updates. And then all the modules are available here, right? So there's modules breaking down all the forms, and there's modules that are also designed to help you understand what the documents are. This is exactly what it is. Look at all of them. Individual videos that go into depth about my views on everything that the document should look like to make sure that you're protecting yourself in case, there's some variation. But anyways, long story short, with all of this here, in addition to this is the private Facebook group, and that's associated with it. So when you come into the course like this, you also have the ability here to join the private Facebook group, and everything in the Facebook group, as well as this course material, is yours for life. Now, I'm assuming not many people are going to need it after this year, but yep. Once it closes on November the 5th, then probably no one will care about it anymore. That's why I'm hoping to make hay while the sun shines, because the Express Entry course, those videos I create, I can run masterclass after masterclass after masterclass. But with this, the time that I sunk in, like literally, I can't even think how many hours that I put in to build it. I'm hoping that people will take advantage of it right now. Okay, let's see what else we got going here. Get this put back into place. And okay, let's see here. And remember, a couple of things I'll just throw out while I'm squeezing through here and getting these out as quickly as possible. There's no restrictions on how many applications you submit. If you've got an ITA and you're going through CEC, there's nothing stopping you from going through here. If you qualify for essential workers or the postgrad or the international grad or Francophone, the French programs, you can apply through all three if you want to, although it would be a horrible waste and most people would hate you because there's only limited spots. After you apply, if you truly want to leave in the midst of this pandemic, Ahmed, and you've got your application submitted, you have all of the ties that you need to get back to Canada. Listen to this carefully. If you're uncertain, I'm clicking the link. You're going to book a consult with us so that we can guide you. But if you choose to leave during the pandemic, there's no guarantee you're going to get back. If you're on an open work permit, you don't have a job, an officer could say you're not coming back. Even if you have a visa, the airlines, you can go and then they can prevent you from boarding again. Remember, at the end of the program, if you're not in Canada, your application will be refused because you have to show that you've been in Canada at the time you submit and when it's approved. Okay, flipping through here. Let's see here. Yeah, so MZ, there's no real updates on the language test. The reality is immigration is being harsh. They believe there's way more people that already have exams that are available to go through the program, and they don't care whether they're borrowing them from the PNPs. I kind of could say stealing, whether they're stealing or taking them from the PNP programs or from CEC or whatever it might be. They don't care. They just want landings before the end of the year to meet the levels plans. Okay, Jamila says, if I have a 1+1 program, can I apply on May 8th for TRPR even if I am on implied status, or should I wait to receive my working permit? There's a lot involved with that, Jamila. I'm going to ring the bell. If you're saying 1+1, 1 year plus 1 year that's completed, you've got that credential confirmation that you've got it completed, your transcript, whatever, and you're currently employed, then you can. And remember, I've already talked about the logistics of postgrad work permits. There's that period of no man's land where you can't work and you have to be careful. And that's why I say people work through it and then you become illegal. It's illegal to do it. Okay, right of permanent residence fee is just the second portion normally with every application for permanent residence. You can choose to file the application fee or the right of permanent residence fee, which is immediately payable before they give you your confirmation of permanent residence or approve your application. With this, and I know I read it somewhere. You need to pay both up front. I guess I'll have to look and see if maybe they changed it, those beggars. Maybe they did. But right now I'm telling all my people, pay it both up front and it'll go faster. Your application will be approved quicker. Okay, and remember, if you're asking personally about yourself, then I'm going to skip through those questions. Those are all legal questions, guys. Pay first or fill the forms first? Good question. I think personally, go pay the fee. Pay the fee, have it in your pocket, put it with your documents, and then once the forms are completed and you've got they're going to hopefully be completed in advance because you learned in my course to do it. You're going to upload all of those, and then you're going to upload all your documents, and you're going to have it all together in one. If it wasn't meant to be that way for you to pay the fees through this portal, they would never have that spot there for you to pay them. So just a little pro tip there. Okay, let's see this one. So this is kind of specific, but it applies to all of you. And I've got one more question I'm going to take after this, and then I'm going to wrap it up. Okay. I got my reference letter and my pay stubs from my work today. Will IRCC accept a time lag? How to prove I'm currently employed? Yeah, understand. Like if you've got a reference letter that is 3 months old, I don't use anything for employment that is over 30 days. If you've got something that you're proving that you're currently employed and it's more than 30 days ago, I don't like that at all. I want my letters to be at least within 30 days. So we're talking, if you haven't got it yet, right now is when you're going to get it. Obviously it's impossible to prove right on the very moment that you are currently employed with a letter that's dated. So, you're not going to wait till May 6th, guys. You're not going to wait till May 6th to get your employer letters. You're just not going to have time. At the very, very latest, you could ultimately leave it to be signed on your, as you're leaving work on May the 5th. Thanks, employer, for this updated letter. I really appreciate it. Thanks for giving me the day off tomorrow because I don't know when it's going to be launched. And I'll see you working extra hard on May the 7th, Friday, after I've got my application submitted, and I'm celebrating because I took Mark's course and I was fully prepared and it was like, boom. All right, there we go. I'll finish with this one. Another practical tip. Okay, do we have to upload documents as one file or separate? One thing we know is that it's going to look very similar to Express Entry. And I know a lot of you haven't gone through and really looked at what happened, but there's a ton of information out there, including my Express Entry course, where I walk through what it looks like on the EAPR side. But there's going to be a section for medical, a section for police certificates. Well, let me describe this. Maybe those are bad examples because those are probably not required up front. Proof of employment, record of employment for work history, passport, for dependents, birth certificate. Those should be the way I envision it. And I'm almost positive it's the same way the express entry is set up. It's by individual. So principal applicant, their documents. Spouse, their documents. Dependents, their documents. And each of them are individual. So you're not going to bundle together all the passports in one and upload them. Maybe it works out that, that's something that they do, but I'm almost positive that each slot will require something in it. Okay. Let's see. All right. I think we're good. So thank you, Deshaun. I'm going to shut her down now. It's 1 o'clock. I need to get over there because Robert will be looking to connect in with me. So thank you everybody for watching. Once again, I'll be live tonight, 7 to 9 and beyond. You can click on the link to join and let me teach you more. Simple as that. Take care. And I don't think Nicholas was able to jump on here, but I'll have my interview with him. Because I don't think I saw him there. I'll do a quick little scroll through here and see. There's so many questions I know I didn't get to, but I also know that a lot of these ones that I've answered for you guys have actually, they're repeats of what we put in there. And those of you who, let's see here. There's so many questions I know. Unfortunately, time just does not allow me. Wow. Oh my goodness. I didn't realize there were so many. Okay. Well, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, I will block my day off on May the 5th and spend a little bit more time answering the last little pieces of questions. Maybe I'll open it up for a live on that day, just as a way to give back. Wow. There's so many here. It's not even possible for me to scroll through these. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Henry's laughing at me. All right. See you guys.